How's it going? Alright, so recently I've just completed the Sekiro playthrough, so that's pretty much all the Fromsoft games in a live stream, the ones that I've wanted to do anyway. So this is all my opinion, but this is the top 5 most challenging bosses from the Fromsoft games. At least the ones that I feel like I had the most difficult time with. So without further ado, here they all are. They range from Dark Souls 3 randomizer to the Elden Ring randomizer. Obviously Sekiro and Bloodborne are running around in this list. So here we go. If you disagree with one of these, that's fine, but you can also go... So normally the Abyss Watchers aren't really all that challenging if you're experienced with Fromsoft games. However, they do become quite a bit more goddamn challenging when they're the second boss of the game. Yeah, 2 phases. These guys are 2 phases and they're the second boss fight of the game. And they got 2 health bars. You have no Estus Flask charges. You only have a few Estus Flasks to your name. The only means of attack is a shitty little fireball. Yeah, they're going to be quite difficult. I actually ended up beating the Dancer of the Boreal Valley before I fought these guys. Which, it was actually pretty easy because the Dancer was replaced with Yorm the Giant. And the randomizer automatically gave me the Storm Ruler. So it was a free win. Unfortunately, these guys were not. They were a fucking nightmare. Gotta fucking die here, aren't we? Gives me conniptions. I am not very good at Bloodborne. I'm just gonna say that outright. I am quite bad at it, actually. I play it like it's Dark Souls. I should be more aggressive at the game. And that's something that I'm kind of bad at, because I normally play Dark Souls 3 pretty passively. This game, you're supposed to be a lot more aggressive, I feel. And I just can't fucking do it. Ludwig, every playthrough, I could beat him a million fucking times, and I'd still suck ass at it. However, this last time I did fight him, and I was a little bit more aggressive, so I ended up beating him. However, that didn't mean that it didn't take me about 20 million fucking attempts. I could have put the Orphan of Kos here, actually. But, I don't know, I feel like I had more difficulty with Ludwig. Like I always fucking do. I only got 2 porks left. So you take Mog, the second version of Mog, the harder one, and replace Godric the Grafted with him. Yeah, good fucking luck. He's got that blood attack where he causes you to be inflicted with bleed like 3 times when he enters the second phase. So what I had to do, I had to develop this crazy fucking strategy where I had to frostbite him. I used my summons, which were these imps that cause bleed since Mog is weak to bleed. And I had to use Mog Shackle to fucking hold his ass down. And then I used the halberd, the +8 halberd, and used its weapon art to spin to win, boys. And it was actually really fucking fun. I got it. There it is.
Very good.
Oh yeah, also you have to fight Genichiro here. And look at that. The final boss of the game has 4 fucking health bars, technically. And the first phase is kind of easy. He's just got a sword, so it's a bit too simple. But then he decides to just reach into the fucking ground and whip out a fucking spear. And I don't even fucking know where he gets the goddamn handgun. What kind of sword saint is this man? He's barely using his goddamn sword. He's shooting at me. He's fucking flipping around with a spear. Seriously, though, this fucking fight is ridiculous. My heart was racing. This was the first time I've ever played, like, legitimately played Sekiro. And by the time I reached this point, I had to win. It was like 12 o'clock at midnight. I was tired. I had to fucking win, though. Luckily, Phase 3 is pretty easy, because you can just catch the lightning and deflect it at him, and it does a lot of damage. So, when I finally beat him, man, my heart was fucking pounding. That's the fucking game right there, boys!
Help me.
This was, without a doubt, the hardest thing I have ever fought in a Dark Souls game. In any Fromsoft game, really. Honestly, it might be the hardest thing I've ever fought in a video game. So, the Demon Prince, starts out, it's a 2-phased fight. So you got 2 health bars. It's the Demon in Pain, and then the Demon from Below. Now, this boss fight replaced, in the randomizer, it replaced Lothric and Lorien, which are two bosses that have their own health bars. And then they got a second phase fight where you fight them both at the same time. Well, in the randomizer, the first phase will be one boss. If it's a two-phase boss fight and it like changes the name of the boss. Then the second phase will be a completely different boss in the game. If that makes any sense. It'll make sense here before too long. So, the first phase, I thought, for some reason, I was stupid. Even though I should have known better than this. I thought that the first phase of the fight was the demon in pain and the demon from below. Now, after you beat both of them, it turns it they both fuse together and turn into the Demon Prince. Now, obviously, this boss fight coming in the Ring City DLC, which is the final Dark Souls DLC, he's got a fuck ton of health, and he does quite a lot of damage. Even when he replaces a boss like the Lothric and Lorien fight, which they don't have a whole hell of a lot of health despite being endgame bosses, he still has a shit ton of health. Like, the randomizer, yeah, it cuts down on certain enemy bosses. Like, if they come very early in the game, it'll cut down on their health and how much damage they actually do. But not when you're the Demon Prince. When you're the Demon Prince, you have an absolute truckload of health. Also, it doesn't help how my main means of dealing damage was fire, and the Demon Prince, you know, being a fire-based demon, yeah, he's pretty resistant to fire. I mean, big shocker there. But, you know, that's not even the worst part of it, okay? I could deal with me beating the Demon Prince eventually, using up all of my resources, or at least almost all of my resources, having no magic left, having very low Estus flasks. Whew, I was spent by the end of this fight, so imagine the shock on my face. In fact, I'll show you the shock on my face when I see this fucking cutscene. What? Man, it just can't get any better than that, does it? So now I have to fight the Nameless King with no Estus flasks left. No Ashen Estus flasks. Half my magic is already gone. So, it's not going to be easy now, is it? Now, you'd think that the Demon Prince, which is one of the hardest bosses in the game, and then going up against, immediately after that, the Nameless King, which is the hardest base game boss, in my opinion, you know, until they added all the other bosses with the DLC and whatnot. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, so it definitely wasn't. I was out of Estus Flasks, out of Ashen Estus Flask, out of magic. I had almost no ways to heal aside from using whatever the hell they're called. It was not easy. I was already embered up. I used up all of my fucking resources. But let me tell you, I did this on the first fucking attempt. And my god, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Oh my fucking god. Holy fuck, that was the hardest fucking thing I've ever done in Dark Souls.